Hey guys, I wanted to chime in on this Kanye West thing where he's saying that slavery is a choice, and TMZ guy freaks out. First off, what is TMZ? That's like the most unintelligent magazine in the world. Like all they ever do is talk about celebrity gossip. Who gives a shit what that intellectual at TMZ thinks? Let's use actual logic and critical thinking to see if Kanye is right or not. Is slavery a choice? Well, let's see what happens. Like, people with lethal arms come to take you and put you into slavery. You then either fight them or you don't fight them. Because you know fighting them might mean you die. So do you fight to the death or do you accept your chains? That is a choice. 400 years of accepting your chains versus rising up in revolt. We're talking about plantation here, right? Plantations where you would have 10, 20, 30, maybe more slaves to 3 or 4 white guys. And they didn't revolt for a long, long time. There were some sporadic, there were some revolts, but for the main part, they didn't. They accepted their change. They chose not to risk their lives. Sorry, Kanye's right. That's a choice. You can choose to risk your life and maybe win your freedom, or you can choose to accept your chains. So, I mean, this is debt slave here. Because John Adams said there are 2 ways to enslave a nation. One is by the sword, and the other is with debt. We are all slaves. And those of us who aren't revolting, myself included, I pay my taxes because I don't want men in costumes to show up with a piece of paper that some legislator wrote on and then force me into a cage because I didn't give them enough little green pieces of paper. I mean, that's really what we're talking about. That's how ridiculous our society is. If you don't work your ass off to get someone to give you the green pieces of paper they already have, and then you don't pay a share of those green pieces of paper to an arbitrary, imaginary group that call themselves government, they will then put on costumes and come to your house with firearms and force you to pay or throw you in a cage. So yeah, slavery is a choice. I, Andrew, choose not to revolt yet because my slavery is manageable. It's a soft tyranny, as Mark Levin would put it. But I still have the freedom of speech and the freedom to bear arms. So I have a weapon and I have a voice. And I'm going to keep spreading truth because if something can be destroyed by truth, it deserves to be destroyed by truth. We need a convention of states or this is headed to civil war. I'm telling you that. They're going to come after the guns. The slavery question is not going to go away. And yes, it is a choice. Was the 3 percenters going to free you? No. What did the 3 percenters do after Ruby Ridge? Nothing. What did the 3 percenters do after Waco? Nothing. They showed up for Bundy's, but what did they do after Lavoie? Nothing. Now we have preemptive disarmament without due process of suspected mental illness. So, you know who could be suspected of mental illness? Every single veteran ever. Ever. Because if you're a veteran and you serve during conflict, then you have a potential for PTSD. PTSD is a mental illness. And they're going to come for your gun. Not all at once, but slowly and surely, the more vocal ones. And what's the 3% militia going to do? Nothing. They took some guns from a dude in Seattle last month. What'd they do? What'd the militias and the 3%ers do? Nothing. I'm not asking for armed rebellion. I'm asking for people to get fucking mad. Call your representatives. Get politically active. We cannot let this midterm go unanswered. Get out there and vote. En masse. Do you know it's 94% of the time the party that wins a presidential election does not win a midterm? Do you know what kind, and let's say Trump is controlled opposition. Do you know what kind of ripples that would affect if the deplorables showed up again and did not become complacent and demanded the restoration of our republic and threatened convention of states and threatened civil war? Like, we're not fucking pussyfooting around. My inalienable rights to life are not up for debate. You want to take away my ability to defend myself so I get burgled, murdered, and then like a day later somebody finds me and the cops are called. I don't got an alarm system. I got a deadbolt. That's it. A deadbolt and a gun. You take my gun away, who's to, criminals never follow laws. So I know I'm ranting now and I've rambled from slavery into the Second Amendment, but everything's connected. It all rolls into one big spectral view of the world and what's going on. So yeah, Kanye's right. Slavery's a choice. You're a debt slave. What's your choice? What are you going to do?